Don't be fooled by the cock that I've got. I've still got a smelly little cock. A smelly, stupid, shitty, little worthless cock. But no matter where I go, I know where my cock is. It's in your mouth and your ass, and sometimes inside your vagina, but mostly it's inside your ass. Assy, 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 ass, ass, penis, ass, sex. Anal sex is possibly the most in favour of gender acceptance. Yeah. Like it spans genders because there's no gender bias with anal sex because everyone's got an anus. I mean, except I guess if you were those people, what's it called when you have a colostomy bag and you poo out of your stomach? You get a hole in your tummy and that's where you poop out of, through your intestines. People who say intestines bug me. It's the same sorts of people who pronounce every letter of the word vegetable. Vegetable. I had teachers like that at school. They'd say vegetable. Like, just say vegetable. You don't have to say vegetable. That makes it sound like a noun. No, like a verb. It makes it sound like a verb, like a doing word. It's vegetable. It's able to be vegeted. It's vegetable. I'm going to your vegetable, vaginable. So anal sex is, yeah, because if you don't have an anus, because if you poo through your stomach, is it a stoma? Is that what it's called? A stoma? S-T-O-M-A? A colostomy is an operation to divert one end of the colon, part of the bowel, through an opening in the tummy. Oh, they call it a tummy, which I guess is what it is. The opening is called a stoma. A pouch can be placed over the stoma to collect your poo, stools. A colostomy can be permanent or temporary. I guess the permanent ones, they sew up your anus, which is cool. So I guess if you've got a stoma, a permanent stoma, then anal sex is not. Imagine if you never tried anal sex, and you know I'm part of that crew. I've never tried giving or receiving. It's just never come up. It's never been something I'm eager to try one way or the other. It's just never come up, you know. Imagine if you'd never tried anal sex in your life, and then you had to have your anus sewn shut, and a pouch on your tummy to collect your poo or stools, and then they ask you how you're feeling, and all you can think is you regret never trying anal sex. And now you can't because your anus is sewn shut, and I guess it heals over like a wound. And that's got to suck. Or maybe it's better because, like, what if you had done anal sex? What if you loved anal sex? What if anal sex, like receiving anal sex, was one of your favouriteest things ever to do, and then you had to have your anus sewn shut, and you were just like, no! You'd fall to your knees, reach up to the heavens, and scream in the rain, no! Because your anus had to be sewn shut, and now you poo into a bag on your tummy. No more anal sex for you, sir. But outside of that, other than those people, everyone's got an anus. Some people have two. Some people, it balances out. Some people don't get to have an anus and they poo in a bag. But then some people are born with two anuses. It's, from what I understand, which is very little, it's weirdly common for people to be born with two anuses. I think only one of them is actually like attached to tubes and stuff. And if you are born with it, they can like seal it shut early on, like right after you're born, and then you don't have to worry about it. But if you look at as many naked body pictures and videos as I do, you'll notice sometimes you'll see it on people. I need to scrap bit of paper where they'll have like the spine and the dimples, if they have them, the bum. If this is the anus, the true anus, and this is I'll put a vagina just because I don't. This is a vagina, and this is balls and a penis. And these are legs. Wearing shoes here. It's a dwarf. You didn't know that. But then sometimes you'll notice there's like a weird divot here. Sometimes it looks like a second anus, but it's just like a little dent in the body, in the skin, and it almost looks like they've got two anuses. And I think maybe that's what happens. Is in a similar way to how like eyes and just all the body bits are formed, the flesh like expands and contracts in weird ways, and like the anus, it would be flat, but then the flesh sort of pulls apart and forms the anus, and then just like where the flesh is moving, there's two divots, and then sort of two anuses form. Sometimes, I don't know, in my scientific mind, that's sort of how it would work. But yeah, from the little I understand, it's weirdly common for people to be born with two bungholes. So they sort of average out they balance out the average with the people who have no anuses due to medical fucking whatevers. And that's why anal sex is good as a gender sort of equalizer or whatever. Everyone's got an anus, an anus, an anus. For fun, it's a wonderful toy. It's fun for a girl or a boy. Literally. Guys will say, "Oh, I'm fucking not. No, don't put it in my arsehole. That's fucking gay. I'm not fucking gay." I remember, I have a vivid memory of being at a girlfriend's house in college. And me and her family got on really well. Her family were really open. They were really open just in general, but really open about like sex and stuff. It was her mum and her brother lived together. And her mum was really open about sex, and her brother was really open about sex. And they knew it's a thing that happens, and so fucking do it and enjoy it. Be safe, use protection. That happened once. My girlfriend and I were having the sex. And her mum knocked on the door, and she goes, my girlfriend was very quiet. She was like, "Yeah." And her mum goes, "Oh, sorry, were you having a bonk?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then her mum goes, "Okay, use a condom," and then walked away. But then one time, I mean, this is irrelevant. I don't just want to talk about, the handful of times I was allowed close enough to a person to have sex with them. There was one time we were in the house. It was in the evening. Me and her were sleeping in the same bed, sleeping together, intimately, sexually, whatever. And then in a room on one side was her brother, who had his girlfriend over, and they were having sex. And in the room on the other side, in the corner, was her mum, who had a guest over, and they were having sex. And it was just all these people in a house having sex, which is really good, especially coming from the background I come from, where you can't even talk about sex, let alone do it in the house. Gosh, imagine. It was really sort of refreshing to have to be in that kind of environment where everyone's just like, yeah, just fuck, everyone just fuck all the time. Anyway, point I was getting to was we were it was me and that girlfriend and her brother and mum just in the front room, chilling of an evening, watching TV, eating dinner and whatever. I can't remember how it came up, but I'd mentioned that I really enjoy pooping because it feels really good. And, you know, because it does. Shut up. It's the sense of relief. And also, you know, poo coming out my anus feels good. And then her brother said something along the lines of, oh, well, if you like it going out, you must enjoy it going in too. And I think at the time I was like, oh, hey, now, don't go saying things like that. I'm not like that. I'm not one of them. Even though I was, even then, you know, bi, but like didn't really know. I wasn't aware of it. But that's my point. Is that's a thing people say. They're like, oh well, if you like poo going in, you probably like it coming out. Yeah, no, the other way. If you like poo going into your asshole, then you might like it coming out where it's supposed to. You might enjoy it more. Say that to someone with a stoma and they just cry. They just break down in tears. I haven't pooed in 12 years. That'd be tragic, wouldn't it? Well, you know, it wouldn't be that tragic. Or maybe it would be. I don't know. The poo going into an anus is a funny concept. If you like it coming out, you must like it going in. Well, yeah, maybe I do. Maybe I would. I've not tried. You know, it's like a finger in there now and again. You know, you're cleaning yourself in the shower. You want to be thorough. You get a couple of knuckles in and, you know, pull it out, clean it off, lick it clean, whatever. And then, yeah, so and it feels all right. I don't know if I'm, like, into it. It's never been like, you know, I'm cleaning myself in the shower and then I'm like, oh, wow, this feels very good. Maybe I'll just clean this hole for a while. And suddenly my quick 5-minute shower is fucking an hour and a half. Because I'm fingering my anus and coming all over the place. So I've never really been into it. And also, you know, being that I am like an anal virgin or whatever, I know if I just dive right into it, it's going to hurt. So I've got to be careful at least. And I don't want to do myself a mischief. Can you imagine? Sorry, everyone. No podcast this week. I'm still recovering with frozen peas between my cheeks. A bag of them, not just... I don't just pour peas down my anus. Because I tried anal and it hurt a lot. And I stretched my anus. And all the muscles are distended. You never want anything in or around your anus to be distended. Oh, can you imagine? Gosh and heavens. What the fuck are you drawing today, Ewan? Some fucking faces with very slightly different expressions on each one. Yes, that's exactly what it is. But can you see? He's like, whatever, just guy being guy doing guy stuff. Fingering his anus. And then he's like, huh? Well, what the fuck is that? And then he's like, oh god, what is that? And then he's like, oh no, it's something awful coming this way. Maybe there'll be some kind of reveal with regards to that. And maybe there fucking won't. Let's throw in just a little bit of background. See, this is going to be one of those like Instagram swipey swipe comics, which I quite like as a medium. I had one fucking deleted the other day. Instagram fucking delete. I've got it here. Yeah. You might have seen it for the half hour it was up. So he's punching, long hair, punch, blood, and then choking a bitch out. And then there's someone in the background saying, "Hey!" And then this woman's like, "What the hell are you doing? Take your hands off of her!" And then she's choking. Then you realise this might look like a girl because of the long hair. Then you realise mustache and a beard, it's a man. And they're both like, what's going on? And then the woman goes, oh, sorry, I thought that was a woman. Carry on. And then she walks off like tweedledee, tweedledee, while the guy continues to beat the man up. See, because violence against men is fine. and it's all funny. It's fun and games. See, because if that was a woman, everyone would be like, "Hey, what are you doing? Don't you dare beat up a woman, you fucking pig, piece of shit, piece of pig shit, fucking piece of fuck pig ass shit, fuck fart in the pig fart, fucking shit fart. Take your hands off of her." And then you go, "No, it's a man." And then you go, "Oh, well, never mind then. Carry on. Keep beating up a man. Hey, we like that." But then I say that's the whole point of the comic, is no one cares about violence against men. But then Instagram deleted it. So maybe they do care about violence against men. I don't know. I don't fucking know. I tried to appeal it and they said, nah. Which is just bollocks, really. I think they highlighted the panel with... When they deleted it, I think they'd highlighted this panel. So maybe it was the direct violence, and they said it was for like inciting violence or hate speech or something, and I was just like, what? It's not. It's just a funny little... What are you talking about, you fucking... bastards. I almost said Jews there. I felt myself almost be about to say fucking Jews, which is not relevant at all. It's not even how I feel. It's just the same way I use the C word, just to get out some aggression. Just say a word. Piss, fucking ass, cunt, bullshit, BALL, shits, bullshit, shit nuts, shit nuts. The word in my head that was about to come out of my mouth was going to be Jews, which I don't know any Jewish people. I assume if I did, we'd get on just fine. I see no reason we wouldn't, unless they watch any of my content, and they probably wouldn't be best pleased about it. They'd be like, "Hey, you use the word Jew as like an offensive term every now and again. What's with that, Ewan?" And then I'd be like, "Oh." The penitent monk from The Simpsons. "I'm very, very, very sorry. It's just not going to cut it. Oh." That's, if you like The Simpsons, you might know that. That was a thing that happened. And then... Hey, how about this one? Look, did you ever notice the word comatose, meaning to be in a coma, is very similar to the word tomatos, or tomatoes, if you know, look, it's stuck. The sticky note stuck to itself. Oh God, it's Inception. You're divided by 0 now. Look, they're spelled almost exactly the same. The E and the S are the other way around, but it's comatose, tomatoes, comatose, tomatos, tomatoes. You know, a while ago I did the whole like Jesus rhymes with penis, kind of. Comatose is similar to tomatos, kind of. Yeah. You know, it's just some of that. Something you can use. You can take that. Whenever I do these things, I'm like, hey, this word and this word. You can go ahead and use that if you find a use for it. I'm happy for you to take that idea and run with it. Maybe you could draw a tomato in a coma, and or several tomatoes, because it is plural, and you could caption it comatose tomatoes, but people would read it comatose tomatoes and be like, maybe they'd notice, be like, hey, did you ever notice how almost similar those words are? And then you can be like, haha, yeah, I thought of that myself. I didn't steal that from any fucking weirdo on the internet. I drew this. I started a new sketchbook. I've got hair in my mouth. And ink now. Cool. It's another one of those, put 2 smaller sketchbooks together and make a sketchbook. Because it's a comfortable feel, a comfortable size, because this was my previous one, which, I did a whole look through, and it's just a little bit too big and chunky. So this newer one, it's just a little smaller, a little bit more comfortable, yeah. That's what I like. I like a nice comfortable sized penis in my ass. I mean sketchbook. Oh, Freudian slip there. Got to start off killer, nice and strong on the first page. Did that. These have all been on Instagram. She's cool. That was from a photo, but I exaggerated it slightly. And then made it, whatever. Keeney, cool. I will fill in these pages. He says every single time, and then sometimes does, sometimes doesn't. Wolverine, 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 Cyclops, Rogue, Nightcrawler, Wolverine, look out! X-Men. That's what I was going to mention, damn it. Slig from, and then all the stuff. That's one of my friends. We love that. She put her shirt over her head and showed off her tits. She said, "Ewan, look at my tits." And it was good. I'm going to talk about this in a second. It's legs and asses, we like that. That was actually vagina in the photo that I drew from, but I censored it for Instagram because I know how Instagram... Oh, is that all I've done in this book? I thought I did more. I did this, you know, the wizard, looking at his orb, his blue orb. I think it's a drawing from Lord of the Rings. Oh, the caffeine's kicking in now. Can you feel it? Oh. But I made the orb an ass. I'd had this idea for fucking forever. Finally got around to doing it. Put it up on Instagram. In a day, I don't normally really pay attention to likes unless they're awful. But in a day, over 3,000 likes, I think, or maybe 2,500, 3,000, whatever. And because it got shared a lot, because people love that shit. Because, you know, that whole orb thing was a meme for a little while. Lots of people doing different variations on it with different captions and, you know, memeing the hell out of it, as you do. So people see the ass orb that I drew. I figured it would just be a funny little, like, haha, look, instead of an orb, it's an ass. And people would see it and be like, ha, that's another funny little drawing, Ian. Cool. But loads of shares, loads of likes, loads of comments. And in one day, I gained about 300 followers, which for the current Instagram times is huge. I'm lucky if I get 100 followers in a month these days, or 2 months. My following has been growing so slowly of late, which is, you know, because Instagram being what it is. But that drawing, that orb, ass orb, gained me over 300 new followers at least, which is remarkable, you know. And I only really care about follow accounts because of having my previous account have so many more than I currently have. And part of me still wants to get back to that old number, but most of me knows it's almost certainly not going to happen, or not anytime remotely soon. For one thing, it was like 6 or 7 years of Instagram use and growth that it took me to even get those followers in the first place. Oh, something's looming. See, he's where's my white gel pen? Where is it? I just need to do a little bit of white, and I need my white gel pen to do it. I can't find it anywhere. I'm gonna shit. God damn it. What the... I never find shit when I need to. Maybe if I had a better system than a pile of pens and shit, things would work a bit better. Just get his eyes in. Yeah, it would be nice to get back up to, you know, however many followers. I had 69.9. Nice. Followers. 69.9 thousand followers, sorry. Which, you know, it's quite a lot, and I'd like that many again. Partly, you know, for the potential living earnings and stuff. Partly for the bragging rights, because then I get to say, yeah, I got fucking 60, 70k followers. And what of it? And people would be like, oh my god, you're so famous. And I'd be like, yeah, I know. And I can't complain about the followers I have got now, because it's still quite a lot. Most people don't have, you know, as many followers as I've got. But I used to have more. Right. So now, of course, the thing is, oh, something's looming. That's a really bad shadow. It looks like he's got... I don't know, does it look like a shadow? Of course, the question is, well, what's making the shadow? What could it possibly be? And I know what you're all thinking, because it's the meme, isn't it, of like the anime girl or whatever with the big penis shadow over her face. Of course. Is it a penis? No, it's Hellboy. The Chained Coffin and Others by Mike Mignola. Ooh, does that sound like... What does that sound like in my head? Migdala. Migdala? Is Migdala a thing? Google Migdala. I don't know. Migdalo? Migdala? Amygdala. Is that what I'm thinking? The amygdala. That's what I'm thinking. Amygdala is a complex structure of cells nestled in the middle of the brain adjacent to the hippocampus, which is associated with memory formation. The amygdala is primarily involved in the processing of emotions and memories associated with fear. Maybe that's even, somewhat relevant to Hellboy. Memories associated with fear, hell, folklore, corpses, things, babies scared of iron. See, because the baby's scared of iron. I just thought this is one of the old compilations of Hellboy stories. Last week I looked at Mike Mignola, his sketches. I figured, why not look at some old Hellboy? Just because. Just fucking because. Because I fucking want to. Do you know what I could do? I could look through the art for Gun Viking issue 5 that I just finished. Did you see it on Instagram? You probably already saw it on Instagram, but look, that's the front cover. I'm really happy with that. I think it came out really nice. No, I'll wait until that's like printed and stuff to show it off, and then I can show it off properly. See, this is a neat... There's so many neat little things in Hellboy. So there's a baby, but it's not like a real baby. They're like, we know that thing over there isn't our baby. It says things, awful things. And Hellboy's like, all right, whatever. What do babies like? Babies like iron. And he pulls out horseshoe, and the baby's like, yeah, I'm found out. Because it's actually some sort of goblin pixie or something. And iron burns its skin because they're scared of iron. That's how he found out what it was. And then it's this weird little goblin creature. Where's the baby? Take that iron off of me. You tell me where the baby is and I'll let you go squee. Have mercy on my poor withered form. Get thee to the crossroads by the strike of middle night, under the corpse tree. The baby's been nicked, so he's got to go find the baby. Throws the goblin in the fire, it pops out the chimney, and now it's floating around outside. It's such a simple drawing, a simple little line drawing. It's effective though, isn't it? It's good. It's good. I like it. It's good. We love little undetailed drawings. That's what... See, I'm putting together another list of... Because I did that thing of character aesthetics I like drawing. And I'm doing another one. Speech bubbles with pictures instead of words in. Animal heads on a person body. And sometimes I like floating heads, so maybe a floating animal head. We can point to Lobster Robin for doing some of that. Cuffs everywhere, cuffed jackets, cuffed jeans. Small gloves, gloves that come down to here instead of up here. Tiny little people drawings. I don't quite know how to work that into the same drawing, but tiny little people drawings with minimal detail, but you can tell exactly what it is and what's going on. Big fan of that. We like that. And again, as on same with my older one, cuffs and small gloves, just Lobo, Bisley Lobo. Big guns, maybe that's the thing I can do. Big guns. Big Gus. I wrote too quickly and I missed at the end, and I wrote Big Gus instead of... I'm going to leave that, but in brackets write guns, so I don't forget that I did actually mean guns and not some guy called Big Gus. Oh, that's funny. This is one of the best storytelling little things in a comic I've ever seen. One of. I'm not saying it's the best, but it's certainly one of the best little storytelling devices I've ever seen in a comic book. Ever. He's got to go to the corpse tree at the stroke of middle night. So there's a tree and there's the gallows with the rope hanging off, with the broken noose. Tick, tick, tick. You can see it's like about 7 minutes to midnight. Tick, tick, tick. So he's there. Creak, the creak of the rope, of the wood. He's hanging out, checking the time. Tick, gets to midnight. A corpse appears, hanging from the gallows, points him over the hills in the direction he needs to go. And he sees more goblins. Hello, boys, I'm looking for a baby. Baby? Do we know anything about babies? Could be that little Alice Monaghan baby. Could be... What would a big fella like that do to get that little baby? Whatever it takes. Like this thing here. What is that? This is now... Oh, this is one Tam O'Clany from Killarney. This should all be done in an Irish accent, but I'm terrible at Irish accents, so I'm not even going to attempt it. Oh, this is Tom O'Clany from Killarney. As fine and lovely a man as ever was. We love him. Not much good for work was our Tammy, but was a drinker and a card player and a wild man for dancing with pretty girls. Pretty girls. For dancing with pretty girls. A wild man for dancing with pretty girls. Hey, that's my Irish accent. But he's all danced out now. So he carries the corpse. And if you've seen the first Hellboy film directed by Guillermo del Toro, they use this corpse. So they use this whole thing, the baby and the iron and the goblin, in the latest Hellboy film, which is not good, really. And then they used this, but none of the rest of the story. And then they used this bit in the not this, but this bit in the Hellboy film. He digs up the corpse, and it's Russian or something. Is it Russian? Maybe it's speaking like Gaelic or something. I don't know. Anyway, he carries the corpse, and the corpse, he's supposed to bury it, or I don't know. Oh, he's taking the corpse to bury it, and then everywhere he goes, all the bodies that are already there are saying, "No room, no room, no room! Don't put that body here, there's no room!" I get the picture, Jesus. Just love the drawings, the lack of drawing here to show like mist or light or whatever, the fading lines on Hellboy. Little silhouette Hellboy on the thing. I tried to use a little bit of this sort of stuff in Gun Viking, but the use of panel shapes, panoramic views, so the corpse pointing him to another burial site. This doesn't look a whole lot better. Great silhouette, iron bars, just lines, just drawn lines. They're not rendered iron bars. They're just drawn lines, but it's so effective. Seems okay. What do you think? A little fire on this grave. Wow, that's never seen that before. My reading's really bad today, so don't judge. I'm doing me. No room, no room. Fire noises. Yikes! No room. Strike 2. I love this. Thump, 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 thump. Now what? Thump. That's kind of interesting. This rock just thumping along the ground. Thump, 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 thump. Oh, one big thump there. Get down in there, boy. Fetch me that gold. You can do it. You're big, but you're fast. Fast! Given your present condition, what the hell do you need gold for? So the rock bumped onto some underground buried gold or something, and the corpse is like, "Get the gold!" And Hellboy's like, "What the fuck are you going to do with gold, you fucking corpse? Shut up." Another burial site. Swack! He got smacked by something invisible. I love the pixies all around. See, there's these weird... I love Mignola's just weird folklore folk in a British fine clothing, sitting smoking a pipe. The shapes of the heads and the hands, it's all good. Use of contrast of these lines going into these lines, so you can see they're carved out. They're not just lines on the rock. And all these tiny little pixies flying around. They're just so simple, man. So where's that scrap of paper I drew the anus on? Am I showing off Fucking phone numbers and shit again. This pixie here, it's, you know, obviously Mignola's using different pens and is better at drawing than I am, but this is just to show you basically what this pixie drawing consists of. A shadow here, an arm, another arm, a wing, and another wing. Like, that's all it is, but I love it for that. It's good shit, man. It's good shit. Roar! Where's your iron now, Hellboy? So obviously that's the little goblin from before that was impersonating a baby. He's tracked Hellboy down under the bridge. There's a troll, and the troll is a giant pig monster. They used this in the new film as well, which is actually one of the better parts of the film, as far as I was concerned. They crammed a lot into the new film, but it's, like I say, it's. They also crammed a lot of unnecessary stuff that they really could have done without. But they did some good stuff. It was cool to see this in the film, this giant pig monster troll thing. He fights it, and these fight scenes are all good. Like, that's a great image, really impactful. The rocks coming away. No like action lines, no like swoosh lines or big sound effects or anything, and I really like that. It's just like a frozen moment of action, but you see everything happening. And the red of Hellboy contrasted against the cold colours here with the yellow eyes is really, really good. Grom, war monster, champion of Connacht, champion of Queen Medb, who fought Julian in the Valley of the Deaf. Now, get crunch. Big troll guy eats the little goblin shit. Oh, so much for that little guy. Whack. Where is it? I saw it the other day. Here we go. Cornelius Agrippa's charm against demonic animals. Sort of on loan from the Vatican Library. That's funny. It worked great on that giant vampire cat of Kyoto. Little references like that are fun too. So he's got the charm in his hand, in his right hand of doom, and then smacks the guy. Smacks him again. And then he shrinks into a smaller little pig monster and runs away. I've lost my arm. The corpse's arm's falling off. Oh no. Oh no, it's been taken by some underwater wench. So he swims down, punches her in the face, takes the arm back. Sun's coming up. No time. No time. Sees an open grave. That's handy. Hocks him in. Thank you, Granny. Yeah, just stay in there. Buries him. Done. Guess you owe me a baby now. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, here's your baby. And then he taps a shoe horse on its head to make sure it's not another goblin. You're okay. I think somebody's going to be happy to see you. All the pixies and the gold. That's a really nicely, like, composed image with elements and stuff in there. One pixie in this panel, like, the fading of this guy is, you can imagine if this is a film, he's like gradually fading away. And they do that really well. The silhouette of him there. It's fucking good, man. The iron shoes! And this is why I love Hellboy comics, because they're just like short little just snippets of just Hellboy doing his thing. Not necessarily, there are some larger overarching stories and stuff. But I love just small little things with this weird fucking ape monster with iron shoes that Hellboy has to tie up and fight. And then his shoes come off and he gives them to someone. I guess that's the point. He was trying to track down the iron shoes. Oh no, he didn't. Well, whatever. The Baba Yaga. Oh, they used the Baba Yaga in the new film as well. For better or worse. Although it was one of the better bits because I think they used completely practical effects for the makeup for the Baba Yaga in the new film, so that's worth looking up. At least that scene, I think it's on YouTube. It's a pretty cool scene. I think there is some CGI in there, but it's mostly practical effects. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 little pages of one story, and it's a whole story in itself with loads of like. There's so much in it that you have to sort of interpret and just get from what you're seeing. Live or die, win or lose, best beware my iron shoes. Oh, it rhymes. So he's just fighting this fucking thing with iron shoes for some reason. Iron Shoes is certainly the most bloodthirsty of the old border goblins. He lives in the ruined towers, particularly those with an evil history, and preys upon unsuspecting travellers. So it's just a goblin with iron shoes, and he's vicious and nasty. Hellboy tracks him down. Ha! Screw you. Ropes him up. Twang! That's a great, great action silhouette. As is this. As is this. As is, you know, all of it. Drags him along. Chucks him into the church. Oh, he crumples into stone in the church, maybe because it's on sacred ground or something. Special delivery, Father Mike. He's an ugly one. Bong. Crumbles away, leaves the shoes. Sorry about the mess. That's all right. Will you be wanting these big shoes? No, thanks, Father. I'm travelling light this year. Why don't you hang on to them for me? Lovely. Saint whoever. Pair of shoes. Or maybe Jesus. Pair of iron shoes and a little crucifix. The end. Like, there's so much in there, but it's 6 pages long. Hey, you can learn a lot of shit, man. Silhouettes, but like opposite silhouettes with a black background. They're like white silhouettes, but coloured in. That's really good. Come out, babies. Grandmother wants to see you. 2, 3, 4, 46, 47, 99, 100, 101. Now, who is special to me? Counting corpses, pulling them out the ground, doing weird shit with them. The Baba Yaga with her wooden legs. A bird, a frog. I mean, again, I'm not going to go all the way through it, but you just have to marvel at the fucking... the art. I'm so ashamed of myself that I didn't like this when I was younger. But that's just a part of growing up, I guess, isn't it? You look at it and go, oh, it's all simplistic. Where's all the cross-hatching and the detail and the big bulging everything? But you look at it now and you go, fuck me. Is this a perfectly drawn comic book? And the ideas behind it as well. So this hand, the ring comes off the finger. Hellboy's like, oh. And then it's like unravels. It's a snake, but then it's got legs and it's this lizard. And look at that. As a panel, that fucking glowing lizard right in front of him with all this shit going on. These weird corpses with big eyes. Grabs the thing. It belches fire and it's all bright and shit. And he's on fire, all his clothes burn off, and then he's just in this fucking hovel. Boom, 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 boom. The chained coffin. I like that they're all short stories, man. These short little... That's another thing I want to do with Gun Viking, is do like... There is one large overarching story, but I'd like to do some little offshoots. Because Gun Viking is going to have an end to the story. So once that's done, I can do little like... Previously in time, this happened and this happened. And he just has little funny adventures and shoots everyone until they're dead. Oh, is this the one with the werewolf? I think I remember being disappointed because there's an image of him fighting the werewolf with like an iron bar with a crucifix on the end. All of these are so good. His use of silhouette. I guess this is the werewolf as a man, and he peels his skin off, and you see the teeth as he's peeling his skin off, and reveals himself to be the werewolf, peeling the skin off his legs. So good. The silhouette. And then the mouth in the silhouette, the use of shadow on all of this. The shape is so perfect. And he just highlights just enough detail to like make it solid and like look good. And werewolves are difficult to draw in general to make them look good. You can fuck up a werewolf so easily, but you know, Mr. Mignola knows what he's doing, doesn't he? So at some point he grabs like some iron bar with a crucifix on the end, and he's just beating the shit out of this werewolf with this iron bar. And I think it's a cover, so I don't think it's in this book, but there's an image where there's the werewolf and he's got loads of like red crucifixes all over him, which are just, you know, marks like burned in from this iron pole. It's a really good image, but it's not in this collection. I think it's a separate cover. And that's where I was a little bit disappointed, because I wanted to see that image again. I've got it in one of the Art of Hellboy books, but whatevs. Like anyone cares. Oh, it's just fucking good. Look at that. That's cool. That's just a cool panel. I'd be happy to do this as a single drawing. Draw it in ballpoint or just ink. Have that as an image. I'd just be happy to have that, but that's one in a... No, it's balls! It's not a penis. It's a big hangy ball bag. See? And you can... I think you can see it. You can just about see what's going on. It's coming towards him, hits him in the face, and then slides up and across his head and off. And it's 10. I think I've got 10. I think I did it accurately. You see how I laid them out perfectly? So you see this in the first half of the podcast, and then you get the reveal in the second half. 10, because it's when you swipe. That's why I was talking about. I quite like the medium of the swipe comic on Instagram. I'd like to do more with that. Like, you know, if Instagram's going to be as shitty as it is lately, to at least try to do something with what Instagram has. And the 10 photo swipe feature is something I feel I can at least try to utilise. Not necessarily always use the full 10 photos or pictures or whatever, but use the swipe feature. And supposedly if you use lots of photos for people to swipe through, it can put your engagement up more, because people might be intrigued as to what's there, and so they swipe and are therefore on your page for a bit longer. And that's the whole point, is to keep people on your page for as long as possible. So if you have more to look at, then they're going to be there for long. And that's not necessarily the point of why I'd want to do stuff using the swipe. But if you have one image and you're like, oh, okay, what's this? Like this. People might not swipe. They might see that and be like, what the fuck is this? I'm not going to swipe. But if they see that and they see, oh, it's a swipe thing, then they might be intrigued enough to actually try to see what the hell is going on. And then they swipe and see that, and then swipe and see that, and then that, and they're like, what's going on? And then they see balls, and it's hilarious, and they'll fucking love it, and it'll get so many likes and shares and help me become a famous artist. Probably not, but you know, it's just another one. It's, hey guys, look, I did another one, and another funny little comic. Isn't this funny? And a little comic. And this was one, out of nowhere, the idea came to me to do a funny little like swipey comic of a guy with balls swiping across his face. And I was in bed, and I quickly wrote it down in the notes on my phone, which every now and again I'll just completely forget about. And I'm glad I did, because the next day I had just about forgotten that I'd had this idea for a comic. And I was just looking at my phone. I was noting down something else in the notes on my phone, and I saw, I think it said literally like ball swipe man face comic or something. And I was like, oh shit, yes, do that, fucking do that shit. And so now I'm doing that shit, and you get to see it. It'll probably be on Instagram before you see it on the podcast, but you know, that's just how it goes. You get to see the development of it, yeah, which is something in itself. Seeing the comic is one thing, but seeing the comic be made, that's a whole thing else, isn't it? Maybe. Swap. It would be good to have like a weird, funny sound effect on there, like swap or slop, slap, slap, slip, slop, something. But I don't think I will put a sound effect in, humorous or otherwise. Try to put like shadows, shadow of the ball bag. That's the follow-up to Shadow of the Colossus. Shadow of the ball bag. You had to be there. Really, you had to be there to understand that joke. Yeah, my humour is so like cerebral. You really like it makes you think, and if you're not there at the time, it's really difficult to understand all the nuances of where my humour comes from and where it goes. Because it changes direction. You think it's going one way and then it goes another. So you think, oh, there's a guy making like weird facial expressions, and then suddenly there's a shadow over his face, and you're like, oh, it's you, and it's going to be a penis. And then, nope, bitch, you thought it was going to be a penis. Turns out you were wrong. It's a ball bag, a big hangy ball bag, and that's what I aimed to do, is make it look as hangy as possible, and I think I've sort of achieved that pretty well. I think it looks pretty hangy, which was my goal. That's one of those times where everyone's done the sort of like in their head the mock interview, like you're being interviewed on one of the fucking late night shows or whatever, or maybe on James Corden. Like they're interviewing, you as an artist, and talk about your process and this and that, and you go over, what answers you'll give in your head. You're like, oh, yeah, I'd say this and this, and talk about like my inspirations and things. I'd love for that to happen with stuff like this. To be like, oh wow, so where did the inspiration come from for this ball bag little swipe comic thing you did? And I'd be like, well, I'm very glad you asked about that. That's sort of the answer for that is sort of twofold. It's basically balls, they're funny in themselves, and teabagging is a thing. Now I'm just doing it. Now I'm doing the actual. What's that? Is it Genius, Hip Hop Genius, or whatever the website, and they have all the lyrics to all the songs. And they do interviews with some of the artists where they just have them sat in front of a wall and they ask them a bunch of questions and they get them to like recite lyrics and tell them what their lyrics mean and stuff. I should do like a fake one of those. Set it up all nice and have them as if I'm being interviewed. And because they do it in such a way that you never hear the interviewer, but they get the person they're interviewing to like say the question and then answer it. So they go, how long have I been doing the thing? Or what does this lyric mean? Blah, blah, blah. It means this. So it's almost like they're interviewing themselves, which, almost is perfect for people to sort of do their own mock versions of, because you don't need another person to actually interview you. You can do it all on your own, or on your lonely, lonely own. So I could do my own silly little mock interview of like talking about balls, because that's what people want to know about, isn't it? They just want to know about your balls. So Ewan, tell us about your balls. Oh, I'm glad you asked about my balls. It's a very something I like talking about, so I'm glad to have a chance to really open up and express my thoughts and feelings on my balls. He's not enjoying it though, is he? Having these balls draped across his face. Guy doesn't know how lucky he is. Doesn't know what he's got. Doesn't know how good he's got it. Ugh. He's living the dream. The amount of times I wish I could have a nice hot hangy ball bag draped across my face. Only to go to bed without it again and again and again. It's tragic, really. And then this guy is in that fortunate position, and he's all like, "Oh no, I don't like it." And then in this end one, he's crying after the balls have left his face. Maybe that's why he's crying, because the balls have left his face, and he's come to the realization, like, you never know a good thing until it's gone. You know, you might not feel great about it at the time it's happening, but then once it's over, you're like, oh wait, that brought a weird sort of comfort to me, and now it's gone. I feel this weird sense of loss, and I'm going to cry about it. What have I become? What have I become? There's a question I can ask myself. Christ. You know, I'm heading towards mid-30s in terms of my age, if that wasn't abundantly obvious enough. Soon enough, you know, 40s will come around, and I'll still be doing shit like this, making, you know, barely minimum wage, selling this sort of stuff and commissions of fucking comic book characters and stuff, which is, yeah, cool. People are willing to pay for it. I'm glad and abundantly happy for. But then I'll be, you know, a middle-aged man going, "Ah, he's got balls on his face." Fuck yeah. And, you know, what can be better than that, really? I mean, you know, I'll be walking around, people will be like, "Hey, what do you do?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm an artist, like an illustrator, artist, comic book artist." And they'll be like, "Oh, oh, cool, that's awesome. What kind of stuff do you do?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I do a lot of balls." And they'll be like, "But sorry, balls? You do a lot of balls?" "Yeah, like balls, penis, genitalia, you know, not vaginas. I mean, come on, I'm not that sick and twisted." But, you know, a lot of work with, you know, balls and penises. Oh, so you're really, like, patriarchal in your artwork, yeah? It's all about men and dicks and balls, yeah? Oh, you objectify women. You just draw nude women all the time, and you don't do their faces because you don't care about them as people. You just objectify them and draw their bodies. And I say, yeah, pretty much. His shoulders going up to show his extra levels of discomfort. I don't want the balls on my face. What's happening? Don't act like you don't love it, man. Come on. I'm thinking... I don't know. I really hate the shadow on this. I feel like I fucked it up. I might have to redraw this one. But maybe for the thumbnail, this guy, and then it will say, like, the horror. Or something. I don't know. I don't want to put the ball bag in the thumbnail. For one thing, I think, you know, there's a chance YouTube fucking take it down if there's an obvious testicle sack. And for another thing, that's the joke, isn't it? I don't want to give the joke away in the thumbnail. If you see the thumbnail and you see it's a ball bag, and then you go, "Oh, he's got a ball bag on his face," and then when I'm drawing it, going, "Oh, do you know what it is?" for the first half of the fucking episode, and then you go, "Well, yeah, it's a ball bag. I already know that." Now this one picture, panel, whatever in particular, almost looks like he's enjoying it in like a sexual way. I guess you could say that about any of them. It looks like he could be achieving or reaching climax in any of these panels, but I feel like this one especially, he just looks extra orgasmy. I don't know. Orgasmy, word of the day. To look as if you are orgasming is to look orgasmy. Orgasmy, orgasm you. Let's orgasm. Orgasm. There's a new word. It means when everyone in an area is all coming together at the same time. It's an orgasm. A-L-L-gasm. Orgasm. Yeah, explain the jokes some more, Ewan. We didn't quite get it the first time you said it. Hey, man. Come on now. I don't know what the fuck this is. This big black fucking venom symbiote blob coming away from his head as the balls slide off of his bonds. Balls in my mouth. Look at the movement in that, yeah, where it's like slides up his face and then it's like hanging off the edge and then swipes off. Lucky guy. Lucky guy. I wish I had balls on my face. I wish I had them every day. I'd love to have balls on my face. I would love them every day. What fucking time are we at, Christ? I reckon I can just about... I'll do the little like background bits later on. I'll finish up the main sort of part of it now and then do the rest of it later. I mean, I've clearly run out of fucking shit and nonsense to talk about. Certainly about this, I mean, because this is like, well, that's the comic. You get the idea. What more is there to say about it? Like, oh, balls on his face. Okay, I get it. Yeah. Now what? Well, now you just enjoy the ride, I guess. Just sit back and watch as I get the comic sort of finished. Aw, he's so sad. And the balls have left his head completely. Which again is probably why he's sad. If he's got any sense, that's why he'll be sad. I don't know why they've like grown polyps. Little black splodges on them. I think it's just trying to show texture from his head or whatever. I don't know. Man. I just draw the shit. I don't know what it all means. I mean, I think that's about it. I don't know. I can't really do much more than that. I needed to do a little bit of whiting out on his teeth here. Not too much. His eyes would be in shadow there, so I don't need to do much there. Should I put little, like, highlights on the balls? These are the highlights on the balls. That's Raging Bull. These are the jewels from the belt. where he's trying to get money, so he takes the jewels out of his prize-winning championship boxing belt, tries to sell them, and the guy he's trying to sell them to is like, I'd buy the belt with the jewels in, but these jewels on their own are worth nothing. What the fuck are you doing? As he spent hours prying these fucking jewels out of his belt, he could have sold the belt on its own. Silly twat. Shiny, shiny balls. And that's that. Oh, that's such a funny... You're so funny, Ewan. Huh? What, Wait, what? Oh, God. Oh, no! 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 Ah! Oh, my God! Oh, what's happening? Oh, I hate this! I can't believe it! Oh, my God! And that's the show.